when the doctors came back in and I was still there, he was astonished. He mentioned my cholesterol was over 350 for the total.
The total.
The total was 350. I'm like, how? I'm 21 years old. I was super healthy. And he goes, what did you change? I said, well, I changed my diet. I became a vegetarian. And he's like, well, that shouldn't happen. I said, well, it did to me, and I didn't understand it. He goes, I will definitely put you on a statin. And I said, well, what's that? I didn't even know what that was. I was too young.
Yeah.
And I declined. And I said, well, I'm just going to just take it from here on out. And I left it as is.
Yeah.
You know, I continued becoming a vegetarian until I felt that I just wasn't feeling well. Even though I was a good runner, I exercised, I lived a healthy life, and something wasn't right.
You remember what are some of the symptoms that you felt? Were you just more tired? Or
I was more
aches
tired,
and pains,
lethargic. Well, I wasn't.
or headaches?
There was never aches and pains because I was young and I was a runner.
Right.
But it was more lethargic, and I did put on weight. I actually put on weight. I actually put on about 10 to 20 pounds, which I didn't understand at the time.
Yeah.
You know, because I was never large,
Right.
per se. But I do believe that what had happened a couple years later down the road, around 1995, I was handed a book, Eating for Your Blood Type.
Eat right for your type. Yeah.
Eat right for your blood type.
Yeah.
And the gentleman that actually handed me that book, he says, there's something not right with you. I said, well, he goes, do you know your blood type? I said, well, of course I do. I'm a blood type O negative.
A lot of people don't know their blood type.
But I did.
You did. Yeah.
Because I always knew that when they check your blood and you're at O negative, Rh negative, they want your blood. Okay. It's a very rare blood type. It's much needed through the whole blood center, and I've always donated. So I always knew what my blood type was. So I think that once he heard that, he actually gave me the book.
Yeah.
And so when I found out that I was eating completely opposite of what the book said,
Yeah.
that I was eating correctly growing up when I was younger,
Yes.
and I was healthy, I was stunned. So I actually then reverted right back to it. I started eating meat again. I started eating less grains, less everything, because I was being filled with eating meat.
Yeah.
Within the first month, oh my God, I lost 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And my running was better, which then made me train for a marathon.
Oh, wow.
And it just got better and better and better. And so, but again, back then, I still didn't understand that this could be a new way of life for me, because I was always in business administration, always working for corporations and you know, climbing the ladder, but I never thought of nutrition or health as a new career path.
I see.
Until when I finished a marathon, that I felt so good.
Yeah.
And by that time, it was 27 years old.
Wow.
That this could be a new beginning.
Over time, this whole notion about cholesterol has been very debatable, and sadly enough, it is a $1 trillion industry for the prescription of medications. And then what we have seen, you and I have seen, is that the effects that those drugs have done, they have been so oriented on lowering a certain number, but the price people have paid for lowering that number has caused other symptoms, has caused other diseases that are even more costly to society as a whole, to the individual, to the quality of life in general. So I do know that this is a topic, when you talk about cholesterol, it probably makes some people go like, whoa, and some people are going to criticize our interview because of what we say or may say. And but that makes it kind of fun too, doesn't it? I mean, this is our experience that we have talking with people for so many years, and in your case, your own personal experience.
Absolutely.
So let's help people out a little bit. What is cholesterol? So the internet says, to be precise, it says cholesterol is a waxy substance found in the blood and all cells of the body. So that's a powerful statement. That means it is in our body, not because of an accident, but by default. It just, our body needs cholesterol. And the thing is that where the whole premise of the cholesterol, let's call it the cholesterol hoax, comes in my opinion, is that people will say, physicians will say that cholesterol is primarily determined by the diet that we eat, and that is actually not correct. 80% of all the cholesterol is made by your liver, 20% comes from diet. So it may have an effect, but in the long run, it doesn't have a negative effect. It is something that we need. And cholesterol has, let's talk about some of the benefits that it has for our body. What, you want to say a few things about it?
It definitely produces hormones. It helps your hormones.
That's right. That's a really important one. And
especially for women.
Yeah, but for everybody, men and women make the same hormones, except that the women make more estrogens and progesterone, men make more testosterone and DHEA. But as far as the number of hormones, we all make the same hormones, and that's understood. Yeah, we'll get into that because when we talk about cholesterol, I know that let's talk about it. The first hormone it makes is called pregnenolone, and pregnenolone is actually a brain hormone. And therefore, they have seen, and we may come back on that in a little bit, that people who take a drug to lower cholesterol lose the production of the progesterone or the pregnenolone hormone. So the pregnenolone goes down, and we see immediately an increase in brain fog and Alzheimer's and dementia. So more and more people who are on a statin drug have incidences of Alzheimer's and dementia. Or you can say, when they have done research on people who are in rest homes because they have Alzheimer's or dementia, they've noticed that an increased number of people actually is taking a statin drug, even at an older age of life. So they've lost the production of pregnenolone.
Absolutely.
Brain. So it is really good for brain. Okay.
I think that's the major one.
Yeah, the brain runs on fat, needs fat in order to work. The frustrating thing for me is indeed they're looking at numbers.
Only.
And so you talk about 1994, 1995, when you talked about the book Eat Right for Your Type.
Yes.
When you go back to about 1990, if people had a total cholesterol of roughly 300, so again, we're just looking at one number, which is what most doctors look at. Your cholesterol is over a certain number. They don't look at the individual lipoproteins. No. They'll simply look at your total number and decide this number is too high. Now, before 1990, if you had a total cholesterol of roughly 300 plus, they said, well, just keep an eye on it, but they were not panicking whatsoever. But I remember in 1995 that all of a sudden the number was dropped to about 250, 240, 250. And the issue was also with the FDA then and the CDC, and they said, if your total cholesterol is over 250, you have to go on a statin drug to bring it down.
Absolutely.
And I almost certain that part of the deal was that your insurance rates would go up, because over 250, you had a higher chance of developing heart disease or strokes. That was in 1995. In 1999, 2000, they dropped that number from 250 to 235. In 2006, they dropped it to about 215.
So it's like every 5 years.
Yeah, every 5 years, roughly.
Every
in
5
2012,
years.
they dropped it to 200. And now we're in 2025, and they're talking about 180, and they want to bring it down.
Yes, I'm even hearing lower than that.
Yeah.
I am really hearing it, and it just astounds me. Like all of a sudden our bodies are not miraculous like they used to be.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah.
I mean, their notions, it just doesn't make sense to me.
And the majority of people are blood type O's in this country. And I do believe that there are other blood types if they have less, like a blood type A or an AB, when they have lower cholesterol, they seem to be okay with it because their natural inclination is to be more a vegetarian or a vegan anyway.
Right.
They do better on, that's what they say. Now, I'm not going to say we have to believe everything there is in the book.
No.
But that book, for me too, has been a great support,
Right.
helper, when people have these issues where they just cannot get over it. It's whatever they're fighting, it just, they don't have the success.
Yes.
And when I've introduced them to the blood types and say, have you ever looked into eliminating this and focusing more on that? And they say, no, I eat all the wrong things. Then I say, why don't you give it a try
Yeah.
and see what happens?
Right. And usually within, my gosh, days to a month, they already see a difference. But what I'm noticing now also is, we're talking about cholesterol, but we're in the health and wellness field. We have to talk about everything. And I know as we sit with individuals, we talk about everything. It is the stress. It is the bad food choices.
Yeah.
Yes, it's only 20%, but that's a big 20%.
Sure.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
With
why
just the
not?
specific food choices that we have come to. I am glad that we did go from hydrogenated oils, but now we went from hydrogenated to seed oils, which
Yeah.
now they're saying it's still not good.
No.
You know,
No.
we are making some progress in the health industry, which is good.